So for the first week, I'm going to be talking about the ice caps melting. This is kind of an interesting sort of thing to talk about because growing up, when most kids like first learn about climate change, they learn about the ice caps melting. Maybe in high school you learn more about it. Maybe through the news you learn more about it and things like that. So this seems like a really basic topic, but there's some really kind of terrifying things about it that are really important, and so I wanted to talk about that. Clearly, as the ice caps are gigantic chunks of ice, they're freshwater ice fields and glaciers that have built up over thousands of years throughout the ice age. Basically, what happens is snow will fall, and then you get more and more snow, and it just builds up higher and higher and gets more and more dense till eventually the snow that's lower down gets super compressed and turns into ice. So this makes ice fields, this makes our ice caps. This is what's in Antarctica, what's in Greenland, the North Pole. They're actually part of the reason why scientists are able to prove that humans are causing global warming. Basically, as the snow and ice gets compressed, there actually these layers form where you can see when the winter and the summer is. So you can actually count how many years an air bubble has been trapped based on how many layers down it is. Scientists are actually able to study how much CO2 was in the atmosphere thousands and thousands of years ago by looking at these core samples from ice fields.
To get a precise history of a particular spot on an ice sheet, scientists drill into it and recover ice cores, which provide a record of the ice's age and what the past climate was like. Seasonal variations, along with ash from volcanic eruptions, show up in the cores, allowing us to date the ice and correlate samples from different sites.
The crisis right now is that specifically the Arctic ice caps are melting very quickly. Not only is it bad that we're losing the ice, but when you lose a little bit of snow or ice on the ground, what you have left is some dark ground. So it might be some like black or gray rock underneath the ice. And then when the sun hits that, instead of being reflected, it's going to be absorbed because it's a darker color. Since the ice and the snow, it's white, it reflects a lot of radiation from the sun and sends it back out into space, which keeps our planet cool. And as most people know, the thing about greenhouse gases is they trap those rays. They make it so that less rays go out into space. As the ice melts, heat is just going to be absorbed into the earth more and more rapidly. The lack of snow and ice that we're going to end up seeing is going to tremendously increase the amount of heat that's absorbed into the earth. A lack of ice in the Arctic and Antarctic regions can mean unpredictable weather patterns. Really extreme winters for southern areas because the polar jet stream, which usually circulates and is stabilized by the Arctic region, can dip south and cause really extreme winters in places like the United States, maybe even places like Texas. It's not just that we're going to face like really harsh storms here and there or really, really harsh heat waves that are just going to be annoying and you just have to stay inside. Like that's not the extent of the damage that will be done. Unpredictable and extreme weather patterns can cause like global crop yields to go way down, which will cause food shortages, cause like mass hunger, really bad stuff, basically. Another thing that everyone has kind of heard of with the ice caps melting is that the sea levels will rise. And so experts have shown that the sea level globally has risen about 7 to 8 inches since the year 1900. But experts do predict that if the entire Greenland ice sheet were to melt, which it will eventually, then we would see a sea level rise of about 20 feet.
Climate Central created a visualizer called Surging Seas to drive this point home. It shows how coastal cities will fare as the climate heats up. Look at New York, New Orleans, Shanghai, or Lagos, and you'll see how melting ice could push shorelines inland. It's one of a few projects online that are designed to make the threat feel immediate.
And that would just totally destroy coastal communities. So I will say we have time to prepare for that kind of thing, but it still is a huge concern that people need to be paying attention to. The last thing I want to mention about the ice caps melting in terms of consequences is the impact that this will have on wildlife. So the Arctic region, whether like in Alaska, Russia, Greenland, it's home to thousands of species that will go extinct if they, completely lose their habitat. A lot of them are already very endangered. The ones that don't become extinct from losing their habitat will find a way to migrate south. This has been the first climate change topic, focusing on the ice caps. So thanks for watching. I hope I didn't get too many things wrong in my explanation of this topic. If I got anything wrong, please let me know in the comments, and I'd love to get a chance to correct it. Yeah.